Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Episode. Today I got a super fun and exciting episode for you guys today, and that is because the Mario Kart Amped Up team released version 3.2, bringing in a ton of fun for the holiday season. And honestly, every single time I talked about Mario Kart Amped Up, I tell you this is absolutely one of the best Mario Kart games ever made, and in my opinion, far exceeds Mario Kart 64 made by Nintendo back in the day. So you're going to get a ton of new features and a lot of fun holiday updates. Since it's been a very big N64 year, I figured we'd talk about it. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And just so you know, if you can't tell already, Video Game Esoterica is sick this week, because of course it's getting close to the holiday season, and why wouldn't I get sick? But I crushed a bunch of Ricola like they were high life and figured I'd still grip it and rip it and give you guys another fun N64 video, because that's what I love to do. But you'll see here, if you actually go into the new version of the game and hit the Z button when you're selecting the characters, every single character is going to have their own actual Christmas theme. And I love that Toad basically just turns into the snowman, although Wario there with his top hat looking like Scrooge. That is absolutely just 10 out of 10 fun. And that's what I really love about Mario Kart Amped Up. They're constantly updating this game with fun new features, and there's going to be other unlockables and colorways in this game as well. But of course, the overall Christmas theme really is the overall kind of narrative here, just showing you that the team wants to give you something fun at the end of the year. And honestly, Mario Kart 64 and N64 in general have gotten such a fun 2025. Between the two different versions of Mario Kart 64 coming to PC, the static recap as well as the PC port, getting Analogue 3D as well as updates to MiSTer FPGA, and getting a ton of updates to Amped Up as well. It's been absolutely fun seeing the N64 love in 2025, especially on the Mario Kart front, because sure, we got Mario Kart World on the Switch too, but honestly, Amped Up every bit as good as that game just because it has all the nostalgia. And just think of it this way, this is going to be absolutely the perfect game to play at Christmas when you're home with your family and friends, right around the time that one of your uncles or aunts says something really terrible that starts a fight, or at the point in time when one of your parents says you've been a disappointment that year. Just throw this game on and then you can absolutely yell and scream at each other, but in a fun way. And all jokes aside, I have absolutely no idea what your holiday is. That just seems like something that definitely would happen. And that really is the fun of something like Amped Up and Mario Kart 64 and N64 in general. At least for me personally, it carries a lot of nostalgia when you think of Christmas, because we obviously have that video meme that's been around forever on the internet, the kid getting the N64 under the Christmas tree, and this year Analogue finally delivered the Analogue 3D right around the Christmas holiday as well. So suddenly 1990s are basically hot and new again, except at the end of 2025. And who wouldn't want to race around a course that is definitely better than anything, in my opinion, Nintendo made for the original game, as Mario in a Santa suit. And I get it, this update probably doesn't warrant a full video, but it's getting really close to the holiday season. I like to do some holiday pivots just to kind of recap everything we've talked about. And honestly, Mario Kart has been such a big part of the channel here in this year. I just love that everyone's constantly still thinking about this game, and I love fan developers keep giving fans more of what they want, because this year we got full 3D models in the game, and that is how you can actually end up playing with these costumes. But it can be a little bit tricky to actually figure out how to find them, so I'm going to go over the procedure for you. That way you don't have to leave comment after comment asking me, how did you actually get those Christmas costumes unlocked? Because you do not have to unlock them, but there are going to be a ton of other unlockable costumes in the game, so definitely look out for those. And the fun thing is there's a ton of different settings you can use here if you're playing it on MiSTer FPGA on the Turbo Core, on an emulator that can overclock, or on Analogue 3D. You can go into the actual mod options and set all of the different visual details, including going up to emulator 60 frames per second. This will not work on real hardware. If you're on a real N64, you want to go to the actual console. What I loved is Amped Up gives you so many different options to do whatever you would like, but you need to make sure that you actually have the 3D models on if you're actually going to get these costumes, because they're not for the sprite-based models that would be stock N64 graphics. So it's one of those things, just make sure you go into visual settings and make sure that 3D models are on. Like I said, by default they should be, but when you hold the Z button over any character portrait, they'll go from their standard configuration to turning Toad into an actual snowman. But a soundtrack sample one time, 45 seconds, and I'll be right back. mean, honestly, Amped Up has an amazing soundtrack, and with all the new features, unlockables, and Christmas themes coming out in 3.2, it really shows that this team is dedicated to making Amped Up the best possible thing they can, and I can't wait to see what a 3.5 version or even a 4.0 version comes and brings us when it actually comes out. And I really want to see, either in the PC port or the static recomp, I would love to see all of the Amped Up features and levels become compatible there as well. It's one of those things that wouldn't be a free task, it definitely would take a lot of work, but imagine playing this as the PC port or recomp. I think it could be a ton of fun. And I hope maybe one day we actually get another set of courses, maybe in like a 4.0 update, because I'd love to see this team take on another 16 courses in all sorts of different video game realms, because right here we're basically in a world from Pocky and Rocky. It has nothing to do with Mario Kart whatsoever, but it absolutely works in context of what the racing is. And all of the courses here are so lovingly designed, have some amazing turns that I absolutely duffed right there. If you've never played Amped Up before, I 100% can't recommend it enough. Trust me, this is the Mario Kart 64 that you know, love, and remember from back in the day, except it is way better, faster, more fully featured than you ever experienced before. I mean, just think about actually going down the slide from Peach's Castle as a race course. It's one of those things you're going to end up driving up at the end so you can loop back around, but it's basically like the concept of Rainbow Road, except in a completely different game and a completely different environment. But that is the fun of Amped Up. Every single idea they have, it works in context of what Mario Kart 64's game engine is asking of you. You get so many fun turns, so many great areas to drift. It's the exact same game that you played before, except completely new. And this is the third time I've talked about Amped Up on the channel in 2025, and every single time I play it, it gets better, and every single time I do a new video on, I think to myself, you only really need 20 minutes of footage, video game esoterica. Don't sit here and play the game for like 2 hours just because you get hooked in, and every single time I end up playing the game for 2+ hours, getting hooked in and throwing away like 90% of the footage I actually captured. That's just really how good Amped Up is. And before you leave the comment down below, and you know who you are even if I don't, yes, I could have made this thing a 60-second Twitter post, but I love talking about games, especially the holiday season, so take your grinchy ass somewhere else if you think these videos don't deserve to exist, because I want to talk about stuff. Maybe it's because it's Christmas, maybe it's because I'm slightly sick today, but every time I read that comment, I basically just think to myself, well, you could probably just take the game and shove it up your ass. But all jokes aside, and again, mean video game esoterica does exist now and then, Mario Kart Amped Up is just straight up one of those fun titles that every single time I play it, I have a smile on my face. I have played this with friends and my wife at game nights. I played it alone against the CPU. It's one of those things, every single time I turn this game on, it is absolutely hitting the exact way you want something like Mario Kart 64 to hit. And I love that the Amped Up team does stuff like just giving you a holiday update. It is needless whimsy and fun. And that is my favorite kind, the type of thing that makes you smile even if you didn't realize you need it in the first place. Let's do one more soundtrack sim because I love the music in this game. About 35 seconds and I'll be right back with just a bit more about it. Just fun music, just fun gameplay. Amped Up has absolutely everything fun, and that really is why I love the ROM hacking community, especially around the N64. The hardware definitely has more power than people give it credit for, and with a lot of the new recent innovations, you're just seeing the N64 do things that you never thought possible back in the day. And when fan developers and ROM hackers spend the time to make an entirely new Mario Kart 64 game out of the game engine, giving you new courses, new music, unlockables, different mods, the ability to play it at 16:9 and 60 frames per second on certain hardware and on certain emulators, it's just something that gets celebrated for me. Because it is the holiday season, I just figured I would talk about this one. Now if you do want the patch, there is a link in the description below to the team's Twitter page, and you will find the most recent version on Google Drive there. It's one of those things I would have linked it, but sometimes YouTube gets mad about that. But take it from me, before the argument with your family at Christmas starts, put on Amped Up and you'll have a brand new argument to have. Who cheated, who didn't play fair, everything that Mario Kart 64 brings to the table. And then later at dinner time, I'm sure that uncle is going to say some really out-of-pocket stuff and you'll be into a fight all over again. Well, we're done. Again, sorry for the voice, kind of feels like now I ate some razor blades and then gargled it with rubbing alcohol. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.